ॐ श्री गणेशाय नमः। ॐ श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ श्री सद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ॐ ध्यायामि चिन्मयानन्दं गुरुदेवं महामतिं प्रेमपूर्णं क्रियाशीलं सदा लोकहिते रतं कृपालुं सुन्दराकारं समर्थं सत्यदर्शिनं वाचा तत्त्वप्रकाशिन्या शोकमोहविनाशिनम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। ॐ नमो नारायणाय। 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 ॐ हृतगं सत्यं परं ब्रह्म पुरुषं कृष्णपिङ्गलम् ऊर्ध्वरेतं विरूपाक्षं विश्वरूपाय वै नमो नमः। ॐ नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णुः प्रचोदयात्। हरि ओम, सुप्रभातम। We will chant the dhyana shlokas. ॐ शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। यस्य द्विरदवक्त्राद्याः पारिषद्याः परश्शतं विघ्नं निघ्नन्ति सततं विश्वक्सेनं तमाश्रये। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय कृष्णायाक्लिष्टकारिणे नमो वेदान्तवेद्याय गुरवे बुद्धिसाक्षिणे। शान्ताकारं भुजगशयनं पद्मनाभं सुरेशं विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं मेघवर्णं शुभांगं लक्ष्मीकान्तं कमलनयनं योगिहृद्ध्यानगम्यं वन्दे विष्णुं भवभयहरं सर्वलोकैकनाथम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We will chant the first shloka. And from tomorrow, after Shuklam Bharadaram, straight away we will chant Shantakaram and then come to our shlokas. All right. We will not be chanting all the Dhyana shlokas what we have chanted today. Om Vishwam Vishnurvashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu Bhuta Krid Bhuta Bhridbhavo Bhutatma Bhuta Bhavana. 9 shlokas, 9 namavalis in the first shloka. We have done the first 5. We will go to the 6th straight away. Bhuta Bhrit. Acharya Shankara in his commentary writes Sattva guna madhishtaya bhutani palayati dharayati poshayati iti va bhuta bhrite. Yesterday we saw this Parabrahma Swarupa Paramatma, which is represented by Om, which is also called Brahman, assumes the Rajoguna and creation is formed. Assuming Tamoguna, destruction is being done. And now he says, assuming Sattva Guna as Vishnu, Rajoguna he created as Brahma. With Tamoguna he took the work of, took the portfolio of Maheshwara Shiva, and now with Sattva Guna, assuming the Sattva Guna, he as Vishnu. Here the name Vishnu is not given, we have to supply that word. The one who sustains, protects and nourishes the creation. Now we have always seen Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. Srishti, creation, Sthiti, sustenance, and Laya, destruction, or rather dissolution. Dissolution is a better word. Destruction gives a negative thinking. Dissolution is a better word. And as I said, Bhagavan's destruction is for construction, meaning constructive destruction. Therefore, Brahman assumes Sattva, Rajo, Tamoguna and takes care of the whole universe. Therefore, he is called as Bhuta Bhrite. Then the next one, Bhavaha. Bhavaha means Bhavati iti Bhavaha, it is said. Prapancha Rupena Bhavati iti Kevalam Bhavati ityevava Bhavaha. What does that mean? One who is the absolute existence in everyone and in everything. The other way of putting it is the isness, is. The isness in everything is Brahman. Like for example, what is this? This is a table. Table made out of wood or maybe in this some metal frame. This table did not exist before, will not exist later, probably after several years, but at this time the table is. This table's isness, isness, is Brahman. We find the lights glowing. The glowing is because of the presence of electricity, minus which the bulb cannot glow. This presence of electricity is Brahman. So, bhavati iti bhavaha, that which is the absolute existence, and in ourselves, the life principle, minus which this body is calcium, carbon, phosphorus. So, this presence, not that which is present, the very presence, as Gurudev would put it, the presence is Brahman. Then comes the next word, Bhutatma. If you actually see, most of the names will have similar explanations. To the extent possible, we will try to give you the same thing in a different way. Here again, the Atma in Bhutani. Acharya says, Bhutanam Atma Antaryami iti Bhutatma. Like just now we said, the very Atma in all of us. This Atma is actually the very cause of everything, which does not have a cause, but minus which everything cannot exist. And you know, some of the bhaktas very beautifully describe this. In Gopika Geetam, very beautifully it is said, Nakhalu Gopika Nandano Bhavan Akhila Dehinam Antaratma Dhrik. Akhila Dehinam Antaratma Dhrik. The Gopikas perceive Bhagavan Sri Krishna as a very Antaratma Dhrik. If you look at Ramayana, Tulsidas ji writes, Nanyas prahara ghupate hridaye smadhiye satyam vadami cha bhavan akhilantaratma. Bhavan Akhila Antaratma, where he says Ramchandra ji is the very Akhila Antaratma of everyone, Akhilam. So one may wonder, he says Akhila Antaratma is Rama and he says Akhila Antaratma is Krishna. Who is actually Akhila Antaratma? It is Ramchandra ji, it is Brahman in the form of Sri Ramchandra ji for Tulsidas ji. It is Shri Krishna as in the Brahman as Shri Krishna for the Gopikas. And if you see so many Shaivite Santa Purushas who will say Shiva is the Antaratma. Finally, it is Brahman alone. Parabrahma Swarupa Paramatma taking the form of, assuming the form of Krishna becomes the beloved of Gopikas. Same Brahman, Parabrahma Swarupa Paramatma, assuming the form of Ramchandra ji becomes the Devata for Tulsidas ji. So everything is Brahman only. And that Brahman is the very Antaratma of whom? Of everybody. Sakala Jiva Rashi. Bhutanam here means what? Sakala Jiva Rashi. He is the Antaratma. Therefore he is called Bhutatma. Atma of Bhutanam. Bhutanam Atma, the one who dwells in all beings of the universe as the very truth, as the very inner being. Further, Bhuta Bhavanaha. Again, here also, Bhutani Janayati Bhavayati Vardhayati Va Bhuta Bhavanaha. Brahman, the Parabrahma Swarupa, now according to our understanding, Bhagavan Sri Vishnu is the one who is the cause for birth. We have discussed this. And he is responsible for its growth. It is not only birth. Even the growth, the sustenance of that is taken care by Bhagavan. Again, Bhagavan, when we say, it is our own Ishtadevata. Tulsidas ji writes in Hanuman Chalisa, Tum rachak, kahun ko darna? He asks, when you are there to protect me, why should I fear? This is a very interesting point. A bhakta, if there is a fear in him, then the bhakti has to be questioned. The depth of the bhakti has to be questioned. A true bhakta cannot have fear. Why? He takes care. Tum rachak, kahun ko darna? And this is nothing but Brahman in the form of whatever Ishtadevata, whoever Ishtadevata. And here it is Bhagavan Sri Vishnu, who is responsible for the Jiva's Bhutani growth, and by nourishing also, by giving that Shakti to function in the world outside. We have so many people, of course, there are so many other factors which are involved, like our own karma, our prarabdha, our sanchita karma, all those are there. That is all one, the later part of it. The basic life principle and the Shakti for sustenance is given by Bhagavan, Brahman in the form of Vishnu. Continuing. Putatma paramatma cha muktanam paramagatihi avyayah purushas sakshi kshetrajño kshara evacha. Putatma paramatma cha muktanam paramagatihi avyayah purushas sakshi kshetrajño kshara evacha. Putatma. Now see, Puta Atma Yasya Saha Putatma. Puta means pure, Shuddham, pure Atma. Swamiji, is there anything called impure Atma also? In water you may say pure water, pure ghee. And if for our own quietude or calmness or happiness, we should not check those. Pure water, never go and check it. You will be in trouble. Pure ghee, quietly have Shraddha in that bottle and use. Right? Think. Purity is something which is very, very, what do you call it as? Relative term as far as the worldly affairs are concerned. But when it comes to Bhagavan, Puta Atma here refers to so pure, Acharya writes, Kevalo Nirgunascha. Acharya Upanishad says, Kevalo Nirgunascha. Nirgunaha meaning that which is devoid of. From the highest sense, that which is devoid of any kind of qualities, any kind of attributes. Quality-less, attribute-less, pure Atma is called Putatma. Now this purity is what? And what is that impurity? Anything other than its own nature is impurity in itself. Kevalo nirgunascha, quality-less. What does that mean? Anything and everything added to something becomes an impurity in that something. Like we gave the example in the earlier sessions, water equals H2O. Anything other than H2O is an impurity in the water. And it can be anything. Similarly, Brahman is so pure that it has no impurity. Nothing can be added in terms of quality. Like for example, some virtues, if you say, Bhagavan is beautiful, when you say, Which Bhagavan are we talking about? Bhagavan whom we have personified for our convenience. Please note, for our convenience, a Bhagavan is personified so that my mind can connect itself with that higher being and surrender the ego at the feet of the higher being. A Rama Bhakta will find it very comfortable to fall at the feet of Ramchandra ji in the Murti or a photo or whatever. A Shiva Bhakta, if he just sees even a stone with a small shape of a linga, oh, it looks like linga, he would say. Why? His bhavana is towards linga. What is it? What is important here? Neither that linga, nor this form, this vigraha of Vishnu, nor Krishna, or anybody for that matter. The point here is, am I able to connect myself with that particular form? Then that form becomes my Ishta Devata. And how do I choose that? Because of gunas. Please note. Now let us suppose our quality and texture of thoughts vary from person to person. There are some people who are Shanta Swabhavi. There are some people, even Bhagavan can't stop them. So irresistible. Isn't it? So restless. And there are some people, even Bhagavan should put in effort to wake them up. Why? Tamoguna pradhana. So like that, all of us have got gunas, all the three gunas. Nobody is paired with one or two. All of us have got all the three gunas, and because of our samskaras, our gunas gets, what do you call it as? Tamed. Our gunas get purified, in a manner of saying. Our gunas find a shape to itself in its expression in the world outside through this person because of samskaras. We say this person is a noble person. Why? Noble qualities are there in that person. But that person also has got the other two gunas, Rajoguna and Tamoguna. But when the person is quiet most of the time, his mind is quiet most of the time, we say he is a Sattva Guna Pradhana Purushaha or Stri, whatever. Right? So we are all ordained by our own gunas. Now, please note, the three gunas with its combination actually makes a particular individual function in the world outside in a particular format, in a particular way. Now we tell the children, you should develop these qualities, you should develop these qualities. Why? We want the child to develop good qualities, Sattva Guna. Why all these are required? So that good qualities will render the person more noble, will render the mind quieter, and quieter the mind, sharper the intellect. Sharper the intellect, discrimination is good. In that discrimination, one comes to understand the real quality, what they have to pursue to put the mind absolutely quiet, in quietude, and then gain the knowledge of that Supreme who is qualityless. Think. We have to utilize our quality, mold our quality, direct our qualities to reach where? Qualityless. And where is he? Antaratma. He is in our own Antaratma, but to reach him, I use the quality. Gurudev, Parampuja Gurudev Swami Chinmayanji used to tell, to reach actionlessness, one has to perform action. Action alone is the path to reach actionlessness. Therefore, one has to use the qualities. All of them we have. Plenty. Aplenty. Sattva Guna also we have. Very many times we don't recognize them. Rajoguna, Tamoguna is seen pratyaksha. But all these qualities have to be utilized intelligently and directed in such a fashion with the help of the Shastra, with the help of the Guru to reach that quality-less supreme, which is called Bhutatma, pure. Nirgunascha. Paramatma. What is Paramatma? Paramascha asau atma cha iti Paramatma. He is the supreme. There is nothing beyond him. Now, I'm sure some of you might be telling, Swamiji, you say supreme, ultimate, everything. But it is not striking, it is not ringing a bell somewhere. Because we have never trained our mind to see beyond something. Mind looks forward for some tangible, recognizable, perceivable way of knowing. Like if I say a clock, then this is a tangible clock. The moment I say clock, this is one tangible clock, then you have a wall clock, that kind of thing we search. Now, if I say what is time, immediately how does the mind respond? Mind immediately search for the clock. What is time? Time is this much, whatever the time may be. Now whatever is the time, 6:45 or 7 o'clock or whatever, if it is morning, or whatever time you are watching this now. Alright, that is the time. Why do we say that? Mind has clearly adjusted itself. Time, look at watch. But when we say time, the time actually is beyond the clock. The concept of time is beyond the clock. Think. Kala atitaha, we say for Parabrahma Swarupa. Paramascha asau atma, when it is said, we are searching for a form probably. Rama, Krishna, Shiva, Vishnu. Or Rama, Krishna are avatara. Vishnu is higher because Vishnu's avatara. Therefore, Vishnu is at a higher pedestal. Rama, Krishna are next to them in the hierarchy. This is how the mind works. The mind has to be trained to understand Vishnu himself is Rama. Vishnu himself is Krishna. And one step higher, Vishnu himself is Shiva or Shiva himself is Vishnu. Think. To understand, all of them are nothing but the expression of the Supreme alone. What is that Supreme? The Supreme is the one who is beyond such personifications. Therefore, it is said Supreme Atma. Karya Karana Vilakshanaha, the one who is beyond any cause and effect. Now we say Vishnu or Rama or Krishna, there is a cause. People have so many varieties of answers to that. What is the cause for Krishna? Immediately somebody will say Kamsa is the cause for Krishna, or Radha is the cause for Krishna to come, or like that they will have some other people or some other reasons for them to come. But he is a causeless cause. Rama, to kill Ravana, Rama took the avatara. So we give a cause for the very birth of Rama. But Rama is that Parabrahma Swarupa without a cause, who is Karya Karana Vilakshanaha. And what it is said, Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhavaha. Look at that beautiful word there. Swabhavaha. The similar phrase we see in Parampuja Gurudev's Ashtottara Shatanamavali. The last nama is Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swarupaya Namaha. There we say Swarupaya Namaha. Here it is said Swabhavaha. What is that Swabhavaha? One's own true pure nature. We have explained this several times anyway in our previous classes, but again for the benefit of the new people. The swabhava of water is to remain in room temperature. That is its swabhava. If I go and boil the water with 100 degrees centigrade, it will boil, but you bring that water and keep it here quietly without noise. The heat in the water will slowly reduce and come to room temperature. So do you say the swabhava of the water is to the reduction of heat? Then you go and put it in the refrigerator, in the freezer, make it into an ice cube and bring it here. In the earlier case, it started reducing heat. In this case, it will start gaining heat. And the ice cubes will become water, and the water will again gain a little more heat to be at room temperature. Once it is at room temperature, it will neither reduce nor increase. Think. So what is that swabhava there? The nature of water is to remain in room temperature. Think. We also talk of people. Some person who is all the time restless, his swabhava is like that. His nature is always restless, we say. Is it not? What is that nature? Swabhava. If we see, that which is without any vikara. That also we will see. And that avikaratvam. Now here, nityatvam. Eternity. He is eternal. Shuddhatvam. Now look at that. Nityatvam. Shuddhatvam is the nature. Is the swabhava. Shuddhatvam, pure. We just explained that. Buddha, the very intelligence in the intellect. It's a very interesting, these are all beautiful pointers for us to contemplate upon. Buddha meaning what? Buddha is the intelligence in the intellect. Gurudev used to use such expressions. We are also influenced by Parampuja Gurudev. Muktaha. Muktaha meaning what? The one who is completely free. Muktaha meaning what? Free meaning what? Free from any kind of, not just attachments, any kind of labeling. He is free from everything. He is unattached. You can't say unrecognizable. The idea is he is pure. He is free from all kinds of bondages. In fact, at that level of understanding, at level of Brahman, even to use the word free from bondage is a very small way of expression. He is free, unbounded. Therefore, Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swabhavaha Paramatma, the Supreme Being. Muktanam Paramagatihi. Another very beautiful expression. Gatihi means destination, goal. In our Laukika Bhasha, you will say, you will go to horrible Gati. Lot of words we use in our own legal, regional languages. Gatihi is destination, goal. In our language we use, if somebody passed away, we all pray for his Sadgati, we say. What is this Sadgati? Or what is this Gati? The goal, a destination which gives me the sense of completeness and does not create another goal to achieve. Think. Understanding this word Gati in our limited format, Gati is that goal attaining which there is nothing more to attain, nothing more to achieve, is called Gatihi. Paramagatihi means that which is the supreme Gati, which once you gain, that sense of completeness comes into me and I become free from seeking, searching, acquiring, possessing, working, toiling, sweating. All this we do for what? To get something, to achieve something. It can be monetary achievements, it can be some position, it can be some name and fame, it can be some things or beings. So our goal has been very, very limited, very, very small, really very, very small actually. But the highest Gati is coming to understand our own true nature, our own real self, which is Bhagavan himself. Think. When Shastras say you are Bhagavan, people say Shastra, yaar, some people have written Shastra and they call me Bhagavan. How foolish, we say, and then we reject both people and Shastra. We can't accept a thought of the Shastra which says you are that Brahman, Tat Tvamasi. Mahavakya is told. It is so difficult for us to understand because of our identity with, our attachment with, our recognition with our own body, mind and intellect. Therefore, the Gati which we are seeking are very small. Becoming a graduate, becoming a postgraduate, becoming a doctorate. These are all very, in fact, to get one PhD degree, very many people say, Abba, that is not my cup of tea. One degree is sufficient to get one job. One nice job in one software company and now it's more comfortable, work from home. Think. These are all our limitations of thinking. For us to think, I have to gain that supreme Gati, Paramagatihi. There is so much to work. And if I have to gain that, first I have to understand what is that Gatihi. And that Gatihi is supreme. And who understands that? Muktanam. Bhishmacharya says, the one who are liberated. Now here the Nama says, Muktanam Paramagatihi. He is that supreme being who is the final destination, the goal of whom? Of all the liberated people. Now look at this. Muktanam Parama Prakrishtagatihi Gantavyaha. Gantavyaha, those people who have led that path, earned the knowledge, learned the knowledge of the Supreme. And here one example is given, Devataha. Devataha here are the celestial beings who out of good merits have gone to that stage and then finally gaining the knowledge of the Supreme, who have reached. And once they have reached, there is nothing called coming back. Punaravritti asambhavat. Once you reach that Supreme, there is no coming back. Tad gatasyeti muktanam paramagatihi. Those people who have liberated themselves from the limitations and who have reached, those people, they have no coming back. That is why it is said muktanam. That is called that Gati, and that Gati is Brahman. The ultimate goal attained by the liberated Devatas, where there is no return. Bhagavad Gita says, Yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Having reached that goal, there is no return. That is the supreme goal. Mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanma na vidyate. He kaunteya, Arjuna, mam upetya. Upetya means having gained the knowledge of, having reached me. Mam upetya, he kaunteya, punarjanma na vidyate. When he says this, it is not Krishna talking as Krishna, but Krishna identifies himself as the supreme. From the standpoint of the supreme being, when he says Mam Upetya, Mam here refers to Atma, Paramatma. And the next Nama is Avyayaha. Avyayaha, imperishable. Na asya vyayaha vinashaha vikaraha vidyate iti. To whom there is no vyayaha, destruction, vinashaha, perishability, or vikaraha, change. All these, perishability, destruction, or change, are for those who are bound by time and space. Yesterday we said, the first unit of time is what? Second. Meaning, he is that first. And the rest of it comes second. And that which is the second are subject to the gamut of time. Segments of time. The world, including the whole universe, everything is bound by time. They are bound by space. And here, Bhagavan is imperishable when it is said he cannot come under the bracket of destruction, because destruction involves time. There is a time of beginning and there must be a time of end. So everything that begins must end. This is law. Prakriti dharma. Everything that begins must end. He is beginningless. Anadi Ananta Atma. Anadi Ananta Atma, when it is said, there is no creation, there is no destruction in him. Therefore, na asya vyayaha vinashaha vikaraha vidyate iti avyayaha. Upanishad says, ajaraha amaraha avyayaha. The same concept, non-aging, non-dying or non-decaying is the Upanishad declaration. We see this in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. The next word is Purushaha. What is Purushaha? Puram Shariram Tasmin Shete Purushaha. The one who is existing in the body. Meaning what? I am not the body, or he is not the body. He lives in the body. Like for example, all of us live in the house. We cannot become the house. We live in the house. First level of thinking. Second level of thinking is, now think of space. Space is all pervading. It is everywhere. Then what do? We create a house. We construct a house. And once the construction is done, immediately what we say? Inside and outside. The inner space and outer space. All this differentiation of space came only when the building is constructed, the house was constructed. Even while we are saying inner space and outer space, space is only one. The house is also constructed in that very space. So house occupies the same space, and it is only with reference. For referential purposes, we say inside and outside. Otherwise, there is only one homogeneous space everywhere. Similarly, Purushaha is the inner being. When it is said, he is everywhere. Antar bahishcha tat sarvam vyapya Narayana stitaha. Narayana Suktam says, Antar bahishcha. But we say, why do we say inner being? It is that inner self because of which the body is able to function. Minus which, without the presence of that supreme, body cannot function. Therefore, when we say Antaratma, when we say Purushaha, Puram Shariram Tasmin Shete, the one who is in that body, he is Purushaha. Navadvare Pure Dehi Naiva Kurvanna Karayan, Shastra say. Navadvare means what? 9 gates. Every Sharira has got 9 holes, we may say. This we have been learning from our childhood. The one who is residing in the city of 9 gates, Puram Shete. Puram means what? City. The right translation of Puram is city. The residing in the city which has got 9 gates, that is this body, and free from Naiva Kurvan na Karayan. He is free from the attitude of doership or even enjoyership or sense of being the cause of anything or everything. He is not the cause for anything to happen or everything to happen. He is only the presence. This concept of presence is what is said here as Purushaha. Further, we will continue tomorrow with Sakshi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.